Hey guys, Cameron here. I'm with Gus from Acid Carousel. Hi Gus, how you doing?
Fantastic, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. Good to have you. Can you just give us a bit of a background first of all into yourself and Acid Carousel?
So Acid Carousel was started, I guess, like the end of 2015 by John Cosmic, who I've been playing music with him since I was like 13. He was like 15 or 16. And we played in a few different bands and just we're doing our thing. And kind of he started Acid as a bit of like a recording project. And I was like, I want to do that with you. Because I like that a lot better than the band we were in at the time. So we started just doing it as a recording project, and eventually started playing gigs and making records and all that. Then it's been, I guess, like 4 years pretty much of like playing gigs, putting out records, and like a bunch of different lineup. Like it was always him and I, and like whatever crew we could get to play shows and go on the road. But now we actually like have a solid crew, and that was up in Dallas, Texas too. So we started in Dallas, Texas. Then we went to college in Denton, Texas, which is like 30 minutes north of there, UNT. And then this year we moved down to Austin because we were just down here way too much anyway. And we liked it. We love it here. We were tired of driving all the time. So we're like, let's just move here. And now we're down here. We got a really solid crew. Me, John, again, Lucas Martins, who's been with us for a while, Nick Leon, and David Rawlinson on guitar, and love the crew. And plus, you got to mention Connor Mizell, who's like our light guy, like six man. Apparently, that's a very Texan thing to do. With every Texan band's got to have like that extra crew, who's like he's not on stage, but he's or he she they're a member of the crew.
You're going to be the first person that I've spoken to who's actually played a gig in the last like sort of few years. I saw you played one like I think just on the 8th. Was it the 8th? Um,
Yeah, last week.
yeah. How was it to sort of be back with live music?
Oh, dude, it was so good. I mean, so we played. That was our second show. It was like a few weeks ago at the end of April. Um, we played our first show since like March of 2020 here in Austin, and that was insane. Like, just it was such a felt good. It was a big outdoor space. We all the whole band got vaccinated, so we were like, we're ready to go play now. And just seeing people like dancing again and to sweat on stage. That was something we all talked about because we're very like we like to move around a lot and put on a show, you know. So we're like, oh, the sweat. We miss the sweat so much because when you're just chilling at home recording, like rehearsing in the house, uh, you don't get that vibe. But it was awesome. Like we all kind of blanked out. I remember like I counted off for the first song and I was like, I don't remember anything for the next 50 minutes we were on stage because I was just so it hadn't been in the zone in so long that it was just a very intense thing, but in a beautiful way. And then we played again last weekend with like there's a place called the Electric Church here in Austin. It's been doing things for a few years. It's like super cool underground like DIY psychedelic venue and promoters. And they did an event not at the Electric Church, but this other place with Christian Bland and Revelators and our friend the Medellin collection. That was just so beautiful for us. Like just have all the people we haven't seen over a year get together just and all celebrate being alive and well and able to play music.
Like in general, how did sort of COVID affect you guys as a band?
Definitely got to us a little bit. Like when you're so used to playing shows, constantly and going on the road and this whole cycle, you get into a routine, and COVID definitely threw a wrench in that it kind of, made us all a little depressed, or we were like, we don't know what's going on, man. Because forever we were like, I mean, for years, it's always like, okay, then you got the next show, we can go record. It's always something to look forward to. And then it was just all of a sudden like, no, nothing. So it freaked us out for a second because especially here in the US, things were, going kind of, they get better, they get worse, they get way worse and better. So for a while we just chilled, but honestly, we needed it. It was good having a little bit of a break because we were all still, not all of us, but a lot of us were still in college, and we also had like day jobs and stuff. So just kind of having a break from the constant, just every day, sun up to sundown, music, work, school. grind was nice, and we got to like just chill and like record a bunch of demos at the house, and we played a lot of wiffle ball, which you all know baseball, right? The game. It's like a version of that with plastic bats. So that was like our big hobby. But it did bring us together as a unit, and we got to record a lot of music. But it was definitely a hit to us, like not being able to play, and like because that's how we work, and supported the group. So we losing the income was hard, but it wasn't too bad. We didn't have too many expenses because we weren't traveling around in the van and not having to print merch and all that. But we're very glad that it's over. I don't know. Basically, what we were saying was like it was really fun for like 2-3 months to have like that break to just chill and like record some demos at home and just relax and take care of your mind and body and just bond as buddies again. Because for a while, sometimes when you're just always in a van together, just driving all night, it's just like you can lose conversation. We're just like, So that was nice. But then after that, like once the summer hit last year, we're like, I want to play again, man. I want to dance.
Cool. And did you guys do any sort of like socially distanced shows or streamed shows, or are they a thing in America?
Yeah, for a while there was like the live stream thing, and we did a couple of those, and they all went pretty bad because they were all actually like, um, right after it hit, people were like, yeah, we'll just live stream it, and of course, no one really, I guess, had the foresight to realize that, oh, we shouldn't do this actually live because there's always somebody's Wi-Fi would go down, and like we had a lot of issues with like we lose like Wi-Fi for a second at our house, and then like the audio and the video wouldn't sync up. And I know we did this one thing for Jam in the Van like right after we moved down to Austin, and I remember like it just stopped for like 5 minutes. Like our screen just went black. Uh, so that was a little awkward. We did like one that was like a pre-recorded, or two things that were like pre-recorded kind of sets. And that was a lot better because there was a little more freedom to where like you can mess up and just do it again. And like it'll be edited together and then just released so that when it comes out, it'll just be there. You don't have to worry about the internet cutting out and all that. We didn't really do any. I guess we did some socially distanced shows before we started playing with the electric band again. We did a couple shows at this place in town called the Native Hostel, just acoustic, but just like the different amount. So there's 5 of us, and we do like one at a time, two at a time, three at a time, or however many. Just we'd get up there for a few hours and just play all these songs we have that we never get to play with the live band from like the earlier records and the last record, which is all acoustic. And that was cool because that was just like small. I don't even think it was only like 20 or 30 tickets they would sell, all spread out, and that was fun and that was cool because it was like a way to kind of reconnect with an audience again in a less intense scale. So kind of like worked our way back up to the crazy loud, sweaty thing, and that was cool. Yeah, in the U.S. though, there was, especially in Austin, there's a lot of outdoor stages, so people were kind of doing the socially distanced shows, but I don't know, we just kind of were like waiting until we were ready, and especially once we all got vaccinated, then we were like, yeah, okay, let's go play shows again.
Did COVID have any impact on your actual songwriting?
I can only speak for me personally. Like I definitely know it's like the songwriting process is always constantly changing and evolving. I think as a group, as the 5 of us as a whole, because like all 5 of us in the group, we write. I think it made us more collaborative in working together on songs because that's what we were doing for a long time. Like early quarantine was just making demos at the house all day. Like someone like I'd just be messing around on my 4-track and be like, hey Nick, come here, I needed a bass part, or like, yo Lucas, what do you think of this? Or just sitting on the porch with acoustic guitars, smoking a joint in the morning, something like that. So I think it did bring us more together, whereas in the past and the first few years of the band, it was more like me and John, kind of he'd write a song, demo it, bring it to the group. I'd write a song, demo it, bring it to the group. And like some of the early records were straight up just like me recordings I'd make at my house in Dallas at my parents' house, and then recordings he'd make in his dorm room up in Denton at college because he's a few years older than me. And we just like had a Dropbox account. We'd put them together, and those were our first like 2 albums and a couple EPs, which I love. Like that, it's so weird like that, and every song kind of sounds different because they're recorded completely differently. But I think for COVID wise, it made my personal songwriting more aggressive and also more sad, which I don't know if that makes sense, but I just wanted to write either super fast, angry songs or uh, just super slow, like introspective, like deep, sad songs. Because I felt like that's kind of how I felt with the whole situation. Because you're like super angry about everything going on, but it's like, what can you do about it? And that kind of leads to being sad and like, especially being like kind of the age we were, where we were like just starting to really play music a lot, like, and make a little bit of money from it, and like trying to pursue that and get out of college and quit working crappy jobs, and then that hits and you're like, well, maybe I'll never play a show again. Like, because for a while that's we thought we were never going to play a show again, you know, which of course that's a little melodramatic, but it was easy to think that. So that I think did make some of our songwriting a little more like, for lack of a better word, deep and sad. But I don't know, it's all over the place with us. Like there's never a real theme to anything. I feel like especially the material we have recorded that we're waiting to put out, it's like it's all over the place. It's like everything from like country to hardcore punk.
Do you have any top moments that you've had as a band?
Top moments. Oh my God, so many. Many top moments, many low moments. I don't know. It's like hard to me really. I mean, honestly, one of the top moments was the first show back from after COVID. That was like a huge moment for all of us, and like it was just such a good time. Like in our hearts and everything. Like we were really connected with each other, and plus we were like really, really probably the most rehearsed we'd ever been because we had a lot of time, to get prepared. Uh, so and it was cool because we played a lot of new material, and it was the first time playing with that new lineup. Because we like the lineup had changed kind of, I guess not significantly, but like I was playing guitar for 4 years and I switched to drums. And we got our friend David, who lived in Austin, who toured with us before on guitar and vocals. He's got such a beautiful voice, great guitar player. And then our friend Nick, who Lucas and Connor knew from high school. They used to play together. He was living in Boston, and then we kind of like linked up with him, was playing with his band, and he joined our group. So that was the first time getting to play with that group. So yeah, the Far Out Lounge here in Austin, I guess April something. That was one of my in recent memory highlights. But I mean, there's so many like playing. I think the last time we played LA was a really really fun highlight because we just had a great time out there. It was Nick's birthday. We had like his friends from Berkeley come play horns on stuff, and I was sick. I mean, every show we've done and every tour, it kind of is its own high point. Because I don't know. Because I'm always looking forward to the next thing. Once I do something, I'm like, well, let's do more. But yeah, definitely. I think to answer the question, yeah, that last show we played. No, it wasn't the last one. The first one we played, and like a month ago, it was really special for all of us. And Nick split his pants open on stage. So I'll remember that forever.
Cool. And what are your plans for sort of the rest of 2021 and 2022?
Just like kind of getting back to it. So we have like 2 albums worth of stuff recorded, like finished, that we're trying to figure out how to release. Because we're not really have a label or anything. We're trying to start our own label. So that I guess that's a plan for 2021 is incorporating forming our own Get With It Records is the label we're trying to start with. It's like we've had it as a fake label for like 4 years. We just say it's a thing, but we had a Facebook page, so we're like, yeah, it's a thing. But we never like really made it a real thing. So we're gonna try to start our own label and put up more records. Got a punk record we made. We've got like a half an album's worth of stuff from left over from the last record that we're gonna figure out how to put out somewhere. because we're like, they're good songs. They just didn't have a place for them on the record. Got another EP that's just kind of floating around, already finished. Just got to mix it. And then we're working on a new album right now that's almost done, full length, that we've been recording in Oklahoma with our friend Brat Cantrell. Fantastic fucking man. We did our past 2 records with him. He's just a homie. So yeah, we just want to play records, hopefully go on tour again in the fall. Like we're just doing like little shows one by one. We're going back to Dallas this weekend to play there. I know. So maybe Texas is kind of open. So we'll probably be playing around Texas in the summer. Maybe the US in the fall. We got to figure that out. And that's all we want to do, is just see things kind of go back to the way they are in a safe and, respectful manner, not rushing anything, because we want to do it right, but we're also like antsy as hell to get back out and play shows again. So yeah, just make records and play shows. We're pretty simple. That's all we really want to do as a band.
Cool, man. Well, yeah. Well, thank you very much. That was Gus from Acid Carousel. Thanks very much for coming on and chatting to me, Gus.
Thank you very much, Cameron. It was a pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you. Great.
Yeah, hopefully meet you in person someday.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Cheers,
Take care,
man.
man.